Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I want to talk about how, a lot of us can get caught up in these unhealthy cycles, how we can just kind of get caught up in the system. And when I mean the system, I'm talking about, that 9 to 5, high cortisol coworkers, junk food, going home to a beer every day, constantly numbing our mind with mindless TV, sports, things of that nature, and kind of want to go over how we can take steps to get ourselves out of that paradigm and create a shift and, transform our life into, the way that we actually want to be living our life. And that's like a life with fulfillment and passion and purpose. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in fitness, health, and overall growth content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. But let's get right back into the video. I was down at the park maybe about 2 nights ago, and I got into a pretty long conversation with one of the homies down at the park. And I was telling him how I stopped drinking coffee a little bit over a week ago. And, that first day of not drinking coffee, the morning time I felt like a lull of energy. I really didn't have that much energy. I kind of was like, man, I wish I could grab a cup of coffee and kind of, get energized. But after that first day, I really noticed that my energy started actually increasing. And over this past week, I've been full of energy and I've actually been getting a lot more done. And I think the main reason is because I'm kind of out of that cycle of drinking coffee. I think a lot of the reasons why we drink coffee is because we wake up in the morning, we need that instant energy. And eventually that energy wears off probably in the middle of the day, and then we usually probably have another cup of coffee. And what happens is all that caffeine in our system, and all that stimulant that we have in our system ends up ruining our sleep for the next night. And then we wake up in the morning again, the cycle repeats itself, and then we need more coffee in the morning because our sleep was compromised by all the caffeine that we might have been intaking the previous day. And a lot of times after we're done with, we're at work, we're working a job we don't necessarily love. It might even be a job that we have a level of disdain for. And, we're trying to get through the day. We might have coworkers we don't see eye to eye with. There's all types of drama and, beef at work. And, by the time we get to our lunch break, we just want to eat something that makes us feel good, something that gives us that instant gratification. It's almost like we're looking forward to our lunch break so much just so we can have, that slice of pizza or maybe that dessert that we brought to work. And these are things that are actually going to slow us down even more. A lot of the foods that people are eating when they go to these 9 to 5 jobs, it's almost like foods that they're eating in order to have some type of emotional cover up. And at the end of the lunch break, you're almost in a state of, you got, people say the itis, you got the itis, you ate so much you almost got a food coma. But these foods that we're eating, when we're at these 9 to 5 jobs are almost sedating us. So, after we're done with our lunch break, of course, we're going to need another cup of coffee to get us through the rest of the day. And a lot of times there's a lot of toxic energy at work. Like I said, a lot of these coworkers are high cortisol. Your boss might be micromanaging you. There's all types of factors that go into this. So by the end of your work break, what do you want to do? You want to go home and kind of numb all that. You don't want to think about it anymore. So you turn on some mindless television. It might be a Netflix series or it might be a football game. Some of us might, crack open a beer when we get home. Others, might light up a joint. All these things are kind of mind-numbing activities that, keep us out of our true potential, keep us out of our best state. And, the cycle just constantly repeats itself because at the end of the night, you've been numbing your mind the whole night because you've been watching TV, watching movies, watching sports, smoking joints, drinking beers, maybe drinking alcohol. And for some people, they might even be doing some harder core drugs. So all these things are happening almost on a daily basis. So this is like 5 days a week. And then by the time you get to the weekend is a time for recovery, but people usually want to spend time with their loved ones, so they don't even really ever give themselves time to themselves. So, I'm a firm believer that solitude, focus, and discipline are things that can kind of take you to the next level and can kind of transform your life into what you really want it to be. And when you're caught up in this 9-to-5 system, you're caught up in this 9-to-5 lifestyle with the coffee, with the bad foods, with the high cortisol coworkers, with the micromanaging bosses, with the workplace dramas. Then you get home and there's a bunch of toxicity when you might actually be in a toxic relationship as well, but you might also not be in that. But you get home and you have like that toxic television, you're watching that toxic media. You might be scrolling on your phone all night, checking out social media. All these things are contributing to an unhealthier version of yourself. And when I say an unhealthier version of yourself, I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally and spiritually as well. So let's get into some of the things that we might be able to do that can actually counter all these things. And I'm a firm believer in micro victories and micro achievements. So you don't necessarily need to conquer all these problems all at once. You don't need to just go ahead and quit your job and then go, be a beach bum. But what you can do is you can start building up good habits. Maybe get up a little bit earlier in the morning. Maybe you're still drinking coffee. It's nothing wrong with, I don't think it's anything wrong with using things as a tool. And, eventually you might want to drop the coffee, but getting up early in the morning and getting a workout in the morning, that's a way to activate yourself. That's a way to give yourself natural energy. Every time I finish a workout in the morning, like, I'm super energized. That gives me a lot of energy to go out and, attack the rest of my day. So a workout could be one thing. Maybe giving up coffee could be another thing. Maybe, meal prepping, packing some healthy lunches is another thing. And when it comes down to that 9-to-5 lifestyle, I think something that's extremely important is to block out the background noise when you're at work. You might not be at a job that you particularly love or brings you a lot of fulfillment. You might actually have a level of disdain for your job, but at the same time, don't let that job beat you down. And one way that you can not let that job beat you down is you can have a level of solitude while you're on the clock. Don't talk to those toxic coworkers. If you need to, don't eat your lunch in the break room. Go eat your lunch someplace else. If you guys have access to outdoors, go eat your lunch outdoors. Get some fresh air. That's one thing that I used to like to do at work. Another thing I used to like to do at work is I used to like to listen to podcasts. So throughout the day, I would be listening to a podcast, and anytime I actually didn't have to deal with people, on a person-to-person basis, I usually have my AirPods in my ear, and I'd be kind of tuned out from everything that everybody else is talking about. Everybody else would be talking about workplace drama, talking about family drama, whatever it may be, beefing with other coworkers, negative stuff about, the management or whatever that is. Tune all that out if you can. Read a book. You don't necessarily need to be listening to music. You don't necessarily need to be listening to a podcast. A lot of times I used to bring a book with me to work as well. The only thing about reading a book at work, which is crazy, is that a lot of times I used to catch way more flack when I would be reading a book at work than I would when I actually had my AirPods in my ear and I'd be, completely tuned out. Because people see you reading a book and it's almost like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than us. You know what I mean? So, you might want to save the book for when you can kind of get away from people. Maybe don't do it in front of people. But definitely the AirPods, listen to some podcasts, listen to something positive, maybe some soothing music at work with that don't have any vocals in it. And I think those are some good remedies to, get you through the workday. And when it comes down to getting to the house at the end of the night, that's another, thing that we kind of have to tackle. You might want to actually get your workout in the evening. Or, when it comes down to watching a lot of this toxic media, be it social media, be it Netflix, be it sports media, can even be very toxic and very distracting, I would say. All these medias, even if they're not completely toxic, a lot of times they can be extremely distracting. What you can do is you can do like my homeboy G always says, get on your 5 to 9. You got finished with your 9 to 5, so now it's time to put in work on your 5 to 9. Now it's time to, work on that self-improvement. If you have a business idea, it's time to create that blueprint. If you have fitness goals or you want to start some type of, anything, some type of community, put that work in to create that. Work on yourself. Physical fitness, writing, reading. If you have a skill that you want to learn, dive into that. YouTube is an extremely great platform when it comes down to being able to learn things. Like me and my homeboy James was saying we were talking the other day, And YouTube, you can kind of, it's like a modern day library of Alexandria. That's another YouTuber I used to watch, or I currently actually still watch him. You know, always says that it's like a modern day library of Alexandria. There's so much information. We live in the information age, and you can Google things, you can find it on YouTube. There's so many different ways. The internet provides you with all the information you could ever ask for. Of course, you have to vet this information and figure out which information kind of sits right with you. But there's tons of information out there where you can learn practically anything and teach yourself practically anything. So during your 5 to 9, these are the things that you need to be doing. Another thing you could be doing, leave the alcohol alone. Maybe stop smoking the weed after work. All these things are going to help you in terms of your focus and your discipline. And also, you know, of course, eating as healthy as possible is always going to be something I'm going to recommend as well. Like I said, you don't necessarily need to do all of these things at once. We're not perfect. You know, we're not people who can just, you know, hit a complete 180 at one moment and go from, you know, living this 9 to 5 kind of toxic life to changing and, you know, completely transforming overnight. It doesn't work like that. These things take time. It might take years. You know, me and my friend was talking yesterday, my homeboy G, and we were just talking about how when you're trying to go through this transformation process, you almost should actually look at it as a 10-year process. You should map it out and look at it. This process is going to take 10 years. It's not going to take you 10 years to accomplish all of your goals, but, you know, to completely change yourself and, you know, go into that complete opposite direction, you have to think of it, it might take 10 years. So it's always take things in baby steps. You know, like I said, maybe cut out coffee, you know, this week. Maybe a month from now, stop drinking the beers after work. You know, maybe a month after that, completely leave, you know, the Netflix alone. Cancel your Netflix account. You know, maybe a month after that, start ordering a bunch of books on Amazon. Start, you know, learning different skills and learning different trades, and give yourself timelines that you want to complete different tasks. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I kind of got into an interesting conversation about this, and it's kind of like the plight of the modern man in terms of, you know, this modern day system that we're living under, because, you know, of course we're not in like some physical slavery, but, you know, it's almost like a mental version of it to a certain extent, because we're kind of like programmed to do these same tasks over and over again. And we go to work and we have these overseers, these bosses that are micromanaging us, and they're using all these fear tactics to keep us doing these mundane tasks, and all these fear tactics to keep us scared of losing our jobs, when in all reality, 99% of the time, your job is probably beneath your capability. So 99% of the time, you could be doing something far, far greater than what you're currently doing right now. But anyways, guys, if you guys are looking to get in the best shape of your life, hit my website up. That's Travelsthenix.com. Book a free consultation with me. We can map out a blueprint, you know, to custom fit, you know, where you're at, age-wise, health-wise, you know, physical fitness ability, all that. You know, I got a few programs available you can cop on my website. Very inexpensive. Also, you guys can train with me online one-on-one, and if you're in the Hawaii area, you can train with me in person. But not too many people are probably in the Hawaii area. But anyways, guys, hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holla at you guys later. Peace.